It's a very bright start. This is how I feel that this starts. So welcome to the Daily Miracle Lessons class. And yeah, we're getting into the practice now. This is the 131st class. It's another key lesson that we're looking at today. So the chapter 31 I'm going to use too. And there's self-concept versus self that I love to bring in because it is very clear in what it states, and we can use that in looking at our lesson of today. So these are some ideas that I have now, but hey, who knows what's going to happen. So we're relaxing in this moment, relaxing and coming to ourselves, like becoming present here. And the lessons are great for that. So you read a bit of the text and then you already get into a frequency. It's like, oh yeah, bring it on. Oh yes, I want to read more. Yeah, oh yeah. Wow, this is so great. And then you come to the part of the lesson where I actually start to do an exercise and you think that you're already done because what you read was so amazing. And this is what happens to me all the time when I read it. It's like, oh, this is so complete, I can't believe it. And now I get, as an extra treat, 10 minutes of quiet, 15 minutes of quiet, or repeating a certain part of the lesson, doing something in consciousness to expand even more. Oh yes, that's great. Yeah, so this practice is really wonderful. We do it right now actually because we're not reading the lesson yet, and today I'm going to read parts of the lesson, not that much at all, but see, it's already working because you come into this slowing down phase in your mind. It's like, oh yeah, wait a minute, I don't have to follow what I was following in the world. I don't have to follow my thoughts. I don't need to do anything like that. No, actually, I'm realizing that has nothing to do with my reality. I can let it go for a moment, and nothing will, like nobody will miss me in that sense. And I'm not missing anything either, because everything that's occurring is in my awareness. There's nothing outside of it. So that's why this practice is so great. You become fully present here, and it becomes the only thing that's happening in the universe. Yes, this is what we do. The only thing that's happening in this universe is this. This is all. It's quiet, it's still, it's remembering, it's expanded, it's infinite, it is whole, it is so perfect. You can't believe it. You really think your eyes tell you more about the result of it than your experience of yourself. And this we undo, this we leave behind. We just allow our awareness, our experience of ourselves to take over everything, like complete, expanded, whole. And then you're ready for a beautiful surprise. You're ready for a new discovery. You're ready to say, let the immaculate splendor come to you. You're ready to receive a gift of grace, of light. So yeah, don't forget to breathe and relax into that. Like, we're not trying to do anything. No, it is realized in us, and we're actually starting to breathe that in to come to the awareness that is our reality. So really different, really beautiful. And so the only part that's can be in the way is the way that we look at ourselves, or a given definition of ourselves. Thinking that we live in time, on a continuity in time, that everything that we experience is rooted in time. And that we walk around this earth in a body, and that we're destined for something, that we go somewhere, that we have a future. And more of these basic human beliefs, they are just in the way only for you to become present here right now. So this is really what the Course in Miracles teaches, and what I love to share with you. So the lucky thing is that today we get a big confirmation about the inevitability of coming to this place of presence. It's inevitable that it's going to happen. It's like already accomplished. So it cannot fail to happen. It will happen. Not in the way that you think it would or would not. No, in the way that it's going to come to you. And that's really like great comfort. So you can literally use all these lessons of A Course in Miracles to let yourself be so deeply comforted that you really see that there's nothing but the love of God. So this comes back almost in every lesson. So in the lesson that we do today, the 131, no one can fail who asks to reach the truth. So are you asking for the truth? Like in the Blue Book lesson, it is no one can fail who seeks to reach the truth. And in order to get started with this, I actually want to skip to chapter 31 first and take it from there. Let me see, I got my little paper here. So in the Urtext manuscripts that we use, the 7-volume combined edition from the Miracles in Action Press 2008, that was when it was published. We use in volume 1 on page 278 in the text, we use self-concept versus self, like chapter 31, and that's a fundamental great key chapter, key paragraph, key section if you want. So there's really something for you there, and we end up with a key that's an expression that really, that's gonna do something with you. I can assure you that. So that's the end of this section that we read. So first, as an introduction, I'll read 2 paragraphs of it, and see what it says. Self-concept versus self. So this is E1 of chapter 31. The learning of the world is built upon a concept of the self adjusted to the world's reality. It fits it well, for this is an image that suits a world of shadows and illusions. Here it walks at home, where what it sees is one with it. The building of a concept of the self is what the learning of the world is for. This is its purpose. That you come without a self, this is how it's described. You come here without a self and make one as you go along. Like you go to school, you learn to become someone with a certain character, with a certain, education, with a certain job, with a certain lifestyle, with a certain car, certain house, or whatever. And by the time you reach maturity, you have perfected it to meet the world on equal terms, at one with its demands. A concept of the self is made by you. It bears no likeness to yourself at all. It is an idol, made to replace of your reality as the Son of God. So this, you can accept that, right? It's like you created a self-image, and you thought like, okay, well now I did everything that the world asked me to do. I really went for it, and I try to perfect it too. I try to give it my best, and like the best education that you could find, the best this and that, and you try to succeed as much as you could. and maybe you got this, and you got your family, and you got your who knows what, and then suddenly something happens, and you discover that you're actually losing yourself in all of it. And it's not really me. I have to adjust myself to my image of myself, and that becomes more and more painful. But that's not what it says here yet, so I'm walking a little ahead. So we continue reading. So the concept of the self the world would teach is not the thing that it appears to be, for it is made to serve two purposes, but one of which the mind can recognize. The first presents the face of innocence, the aspect acted on. It is this face that smiles and charms and even seems to love. It searches for companions, and it looks at times with pity on the suffering, and something offers solace. It believes that it is good within an evil world. This aspect can grow angry, for the world is wicked and unable to provide the love and shelter innocence deserves. And so this face is often wet with tears, and the injustices the world accords to those who would be generous and good. The injustices the world accords to those who would be generous and good. See, you recognize this too. Like, it searches for companions, it looks at times with pity on suffering, and sometimes offers solace. It believes that it's good within an evil world. Well, just take a look at that. It's like, did you already tell yourself how crazy this world is, or how bad this world is in comparison with you? You probably have ideas like that, and confirming that to yourself. And that is a human principle. That's what fits human thinking, so to speak. So, and then it's like, yeah, but I'm doing these lessons, and I want to be a really good spiritual student, and I really feel better than the world, because the world seems to be so crazy. Now what am I going to do? See, and this is something that you come in touch with. So I'm not giving you the answers right now. So keep listening and keep exploring with me. So we continue. This is quite a skip in the chapter that we're reading in the section. So we go to E13. And you can read, of course, this chapter, because it's really great. You can read this self-concept versus self in its totality, because it's very helpful if you want more information, like more in depth, to know what this is about. So E13 on page 279. The concept of the self has always been the great preoccupation of the world. Like, who am I? What's going on? What am I? How do I fit in? And everyone believes that he must find the answer to the riddle of himself. Salvation can be seen as nothing more than the escape from concept. It does not concern itself with the content of the mind, but with the simple statement that it thinks. And what can think has choice. So it's not about the content of what you're thinking. It's not about the content about what your ideas are about yourself. That's not what this is about, is what it says here. No, it's not about the content of what you're thinking, but it's about the fact that you can think, and if you can think, you can actually make a choice. And that's what we're going to use, in fact. And what can think has choice, and can be shown that different thoughts have different consequences. And it can learn that everything it thinks reflects the deep confusion that it feels about how it was made and what it is. Okay, one more time. And it can learn that everything it thinks reflects the deep confusion that it feels about how it was made and what it is. And vaguely does the concept of the self appear to answer what it does not know. See, this is the funny part also from in your spiritual transformation. You keep using your self-concept to understand what is going on in your spiritual transformation. You keep coming back to your vision of the world and trying to implement this new knowledge, so to speak, new ideas of spirituality, of awakening, of light and love. You try to bring that into your concept of yourself. And it's not working, and it's not working, and it's not working, and it's not working, and it's still not working. So this is great. So the key to all of this is coming up. So this is just the build-up, it's the build-up for what will come, for what your release or relief of this will be, like how you can use this key that's being presented. So we continue on E15. You will make many concepts of the self as learning goes along. Each one will show you the changes in your own relationships as your perception of yourself is changed. There will be some confusion every time there's a shift. But be you thankful that the learning of the world is loosening its grasp upon your mind. What do I need to be grateful for? Well, this. There will be some confusion every time there is a shift. So it's okay to be confused at times, because actually a shift is occurring. And be you thankful that the learning of the world is loosening its grasp upon your mind. It's loosening its grasp upon your mind. Oh, that's really great. That's progress. So the whole self-concept of you is going to change. Yeah, in for the good, for the good. And be you sure and happy in the confidence that it will go at last and leave your mind at peace. So that's really good news too. It's like all the considerations that you had so far in your spiritual awakening, all the attempts that you made to implement this, to try to understand what's going on and fit that in with your intellectual schedule or scheme, that comes to an end too and leaves your mind at peace. That's great. That's great stuff. So I'm really happy to hear this. Are you? It's really wonderful. So finally you will come at peace. You come to the place where you experience peace. And I'm not anymore, say, preoccupied with your own self-concept. So a little bit further then, you're not preoccupied, if you hear me well. Like you're not preoccupied with your self-concept. And it means like you don't have to understand how this works. You don't have to understand what your new description of yourself must be, or how that should look, or how you should practice that, how that should, what form that should be given. No, none of that. No, you literally start to not do that anymore. And then you enter into a state of peace of mind. You're not confused about your identity. The confusion about your identity is only about parts that aren't it. And if you leave your preoccupation behind, you enter into a state of peace. In other words, it's not of your business anymore who you are. That's taken care of. You think it matters, and you think it's really important because the one that you made as what you see as yourself is not it. And you know it, say, really well. So that's why you, say, got into the practice of defending yourself, defending your identity, like holding it for what it is. Like, no, if I don't protect this, then I have nothing left. Well, this place of nothing left is exactly where we want to go. And this is not to hurt you, or not to take something away from you. No, this is for you to enter into a state of peace of mind where you can actually be at peace. I'm curious what the next paragraph will be. Let me see. Oh yeah. So we didn't read E15 completely, so I'll continue at the place. So there will be some confusion every time there's a shift. We got to this. Like you went through many shifts and you know what this is talking about. But be you thankful that the learning of the world is loosening its grasp upon your mind. And be sure and happy and in confidence that it will go at last and leave your mind at peace. This is how far we came. The role of the accuser will appear in many places in many forms, and each will seem to be accusing you. But have no fear, it will not be undone. The world can teach no images of you unless you want to learn them. The world can teach no images to you of you unless you want to learn them. This is where the key is, it's like if you don't want to learn it from the world, in other words, don't let the world tell you who you are, no matter what. Don't listen to that. That has nothing to do with you. So anyone giving you a description of you, let it go. You don't want to accept that as a definition of you, because it's short-sighted, it is limited, it is changing, has nothing to do with you, who you truly are. And it saves you years and years and years of suffering to be aware that you have a choice. The world can teach no images of you unless you want to learn them from the world. There will come a time when images have all gone by, and you will see you know not what you are. There will come a time when images have all gone by, and you will see you know not what you are. It is E16. It is to this unsealed and open mind that truth returns unhindered and unbound. It is to this unsealed and open mind that truth returns unhindered and unbound. I like the idea of unsealed. It's like, no, it's not put in plastic anymore. It's not tied up in plastic anymore. Like, no, this is an unsealed and open mind, just freshly, just there, open to receive. It's not separated at all. Where concepts of the self have been laid by, is truth revealed exactly as it is. Okay, see, there's an action. Where concepts of the self have been laid by, is the truth revealed exactly as it is. When every concept has been raised to doubt and question, and been recognized as made on no assumptions that would stand the light, then is the truth left free to enter in its sanctuary, clean and free of guilt. So that's great. So we're entering into our inner sanctuary. When every concept has raised to doubt and question, every concept that you can hold, every concept about yourself, about everything, when you leave that behind and stop questioning and doubting it, and have been recognized as made no assumptions that would stand the light, like it doesn't hold, it is literally being shine, it is, being, it is shine away by the light. It cannot bear the light, and the light is what you are. So it's like this. In an experience of light, when you allow your mind to be unsealed and open, truth enters in as in light, light. And this, all the concepts about yourself doesn't seem to make any sense at all in that moment. They literally disappear like snow for the sun, and set you free in that moment of all of that. So you're actually experiencing moments of peace. Free of guilt, and free to enter in its sanctuary, clean and free of guilt. There's no statement that the world is more afraid to hear than this. And this is exactly the key that I was referring to in the beginning of this talk. I do not know the thing I am, and therefore I do not know what I'm doing, where I am, or how to look upon the world and on myself. Yet in this learning is salvation born, and what you are will tell you of itself. It doesn't need to be made. It is already like in you, available. You just have to start to listen to it. So this is not something you learn at school. It is not that you learn like, I don't know the thing I am, and therefore I do not know how to look at myself. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know where I am, or how to look upon the world and on myself. I have no idea how to look at this. If I would come up to this in the world and expressing this to the world, and then they would probably question my sanity. You know, they would question my sanity. Like, well, you don't know who you are. You don't know what you're doing here. You don't know where you are. You don't know where you're going. So what's the confusion? Why are you so confused about yourself? And then you actually can say like, no, I'm not confused at all. But when I allow this to be completely open and unsealed, say something can be revealed to me. So that means that I leave all my self-concepts behind. I leave all ideas I hold about the world for what they are. I just let them dissolve into nothing as where they came from, nothingness. You know, this is like dying into your humanhood, if you want. You know, that sounds really dramatic, but it is really like that. Like, I don't know who I am. I don't know where I'm going. Don't know what this is. I don't know what I'm supposed to do here. I do all this. I have no idea. This offers me the opportunity to be completely open to receive what is to be revealed to me. And that's why this is the key. You know, it's really a key. So it's good to keep that, say, phrase or that key with you for some time and really take a look at it. I don't know who I am. Like, let's read it literally. I don't know the thing I am, and therefore I do not know what I am doing, where I am, or how to look upon the world and on myself. Yet in this learning is salvation born, and what you are will tell you of itself. What you are will tell you of itself. Well, that's all the confirmation that we need, and that has everything to do with the lesson that we're going to take a look at now. It's like lesson 131. No one can fail who asks to reach the truth. So keep up the pace. Not that we're going anywhere, but hey. 350, page 350 of the workbook, volume 2 of the 7-volume combined edition of the Urtext manuscripts. So 131. I read a couple of paragraphs and stop for a moment when I finish one, or when I read a sentence that gives me something to extend. Failure is all about you while you seek for goals which cannot be achieved. You look for permanence in the impermanent, for love where there is none, for safety in the midst of danger, immortality within the darkness of the dream of death. Who could succeed where contradiction is the setting of this searching, and the place to which he comes to find stability? So this is already a great paragraph. It tells you everything that you need to know, in fact. It's like, well, I'm looking for permanence in the impermanent. I look for something that doesn't change in this world. I look for something that does not change in this world. Well, see, that's already an impossibility, and you know it. but you keep looking for it. The tendency of your mind, the human part of your mind, is to keep looking for that continuously. The same, looking for love in a place where it cannot be found. Well, I don't have to give you examples of that probably. It's like you look for it, and you look for permanence in the love that you're looking for, and you don't seem to be able to find it. It's true, you can't find it. So accepting that idea, like, no, you cannot find love in a place that changes, that has nothing to do with love, but is more like a changing, mirror of reflections of your own thoughts, of ideas of self-concept you have made. So this is the funny part. Like, you created a self-concept, you created an image of yourself that is not you, and you wonder why everything fails. You wonder why this doesn't hold, why that doesn't hold, why that is always changing, and why you're hurt all the time, why people leave you, why you see people dying, why, all of this. Like, not realizing that it's you who created this dream about yourself. Like, you made a concept of yourself that has no reality. So this is why chapter 31 is so really helpful to say, for the feedback into self-concept versus self. What is true about you is always true about you. That doesn't change. That you are the extension of what love is. That you are what the love of God is. Why would you want to look in a place where you're actually walking around in the denial of what the love of God is, looking for it outside of you, while it is found in you? So these are pretty amazing. So the first paragraph is really amazing. It's really great. You look for safety in the midst of danger, for immortality what darkness of the dream of death. You look for immortality in the darkness of the dream of death. I get that. That will always frustrate. That will never be comforting you. So I skip to L4. Be glad that search you must. Be glad as well to learn you search for heaven and must find the goal you really want. No one can fail to want this goal and reach it in the end. God's Son cannot seek vainly, though he try to force delay, deceive himself, and thinks that it is hell he seeks. When he is wrong, he finds correction, and when he wanders off, he is led back to his appointed task. So this is what you recognize in doing these lessons even. You see that the attention to these lessons might waver a little bit. Sometimes you have a day like, well, I didn't really get to it, or I did it a little bit. I didn't give it my full attention. And then one way or another, you're led back to the lessons again and start all over. You start doing them now with more, dedication, more determination. Like, yes, this time I'm really going to go for it. And this is a new day. I'm starting all over again. So why, in L6, why wait for heaven? It is here today. Time is the great illusion. It is past or in the future. Yet this cannot be if it is where God wills his Son to be. How could the will of God be in the past or yet to happen? What he wills is now, without a past and wholly futureless. What he wills is now. What he wills is now. It's like, oh yeah, this is the practice that we do, becoming present here. Completely present in this moment, not any other time. This is the best time for your awakening, for experiencing peace. Without a past and wholly futureless, it is as far removed from time as is a little candle from a distant star, or what you chose from what you really want. Ouch. Ouch. Why did he have to say that this way? Why did he have to say that this way? Like a candle from a distant star, this is how far it is removed from one another. Or what I chose in making the concept of myself to what I really am. This is how far it is removed from one another. Unbelievable. There seems to be no relationship between the two. So it's a nice comparison, isn't it? Heaven remains your one alternative to this strange world you made, and all its ways, its shifting patterns and uncertain goals, its painful pleasures and its tragic joys. God made no contradictions. What denies its own existence and attacks itself is not of him. What denies its own existence and attacks itself is not of him. He did not make two minds, with heaven as the glad effect of one, and earth the other's sorry outcome, which is heaven's opposite in every way. God made no contradictions. What denies its own existence and attacks itself is not of him. He did not make two minds, with heaven as the glad effect of one, and earth the other's sorry outcome, which is heaven's opposite in every way. So that's a great comparison too. It's like heaven and hell. So the thing that you can say about earth then is like in this darkness where everything seems to die, everyone seems to come to die, you could see it as an incredible graveyard that you designed for yourself, and it's like with this, that is the certainty of your outcome as a human being. You're actually going to be a successful human being if you die, because then you've finished your sojourn here, and then it is finally accomplished. This is how you think as a human being. Pretty wild. You're walking around on a graveyard, wondering when it's your day, and you call that life. A life based on death, really. So that's another self-concept. See, there are so many of them, and each of them will fall apart. Each of them will change, will disappear, in fact, if you see what your true reality is, and that you don't need a self-concept in order to exist. So then we're talking about, we're doing these lessons. Suddenly we find ourselves here, in front of a door. Seek for that door and find it. So I asked to see a different world and think a different kind of thoughts from those I made self-concept. I asked to see a different world and think a different kind of thoughts from those I made. The world I seek I did not make alone. The thoughts I want to think are not my own. So you literally admit to yourself, like, what I am thinking is not what the truth is. So my thoughts are in that sense totally meaningless. This starts to make sense in the first lesson that you do in the course. Like, I'm seeing a meaningless world. I'm thinking meaningless thoughts. And see, that starts to make sense now. It's like that concept of myself is shattered. It's like it's falling into into pieces. In fact. So now we come back. Seek for that door and find it. But before you try to open it, remind yourself, no one can fail who asks to reach the truth. And it is this request you make today. Nothing but this has any meaning now. Nothing but this has any meaning now. No other goal is valued now or sought. Nothing before this door you really want. And only what lies past it do you seek. See, and this is, if you connect it to the idea of self-image and self-concept, like every idea that I hold about myself, I cannot take with me beyond this door. So I leave it all behind. I say leave it all on the doormat, so to speak. I drop my say my backpack of self-identity. I drop my concepts, my opinions, my good intentions, my who knows what, past memories. I leave them all for what they are. And my only purpose is to go beyond this door and enter into heaven, free, with an open, an unsealed and open mind. It's so great, like an unsealed and open mind. Like, okay, here I am with empty hands, open heart, open mind, and entering through this door. There's nothing else that I want. I leave everything behind that I thought that I was looking for. Put out your hand and see how easily the door swings open with your one intent to go beyond it. Angels light the way so that all darkness vanishes, and you are standing in a light so bright and clear that you can understand all things you see. A tiny moment of surprise perhaps will make you pause before you realize the world you see before you in the light reflects the truth you knew and did not quite forget in wandering away in dreams. You cannot fail today. There walks with you the spirit heaven sent you, that you might approach this door someday, and thought his aids slip effortlessly past it to the light. Today that day has come. See, we're not going to do this tomorrow. This is the best day for it. Even this moment is the best moment to do this. So today that day has come. Today God keeps his ancient promise to his holy Son, and thus his Son remember his to him. This is a day of gladness, for we come to the appointed time and place where you will find the goal of all your searching here, and all the seeking of the world, which ends together as you pass beyond the door. Remember often that today should be a time of special gladness, and refrain from dismal thoughts and meaningless laments. Salvation's time has come. Today is set by heaven itself to be a time of grace for you and for the world. If you forget this happy fact, remind yourself with this. Today I seek and find all that I want. My single purpose offers it to me. No one can fail who asks to reach the truth. So yeah, this is our practice. This is why we come together. This is the one purpose that we carry with us in this endeavor to literally come to the place where we can leave, like coming to the doormat, where we can leave our stuff and go through the door with help of spirit, of our spirit, and move through it. So a lovely lesson. Great practice and great chapter. So thank you so much for participating in this and actively giving everything to this. So I hope to see you soon. Thank you so much.